Ojama!
What is going on, guys? Rogue TCG here, bringing you a very spooky video. Here is Ojama Fiendsmith. Now, there are a couple synergies between these two archetypes, being that Ojamas are normal monsters and so is White Duston, which just so happens to be a Light Fiend, but also that Ojamas are really adept at putting exactly two bodies on board because of Ojama Red. But for this very spooky episode, we are going to be bringing this very spooky deck, Ojamas, or as I like to call them, Obamas.
Now let me be clear.
So, yeah, I don't want to, dwell too long on the premise of this deck, and let's just get into the profile. Starting off the list, we're on triple Ojama Red. When it's normal summon, we can special summon up to 4 Ojamas from our hand in attack position. We're probably only ever going to be summoning 1 or 2, but the option to summon 4 if we open 5 Ojamas is nice, I guess, to just, spam the board. A little less nice that Apollosa is no longer in the format, although I think that's a net positive. But Ojama Red's going to be our best starter for at least the Ojamas for our normal summon reliant, starter. You know what I mean? Next, we're on double Ojama Pink. This one's newer, so it has a little bit more text on it. If this card is sent from the hand field to the graveyard, we can activate this effect. Each player draws and then discards a card. If we discarded an Ojama, we can choose an opponent's unused monster zone, and it can't be used until the end of the next turn. Pretty good effect. Lock-in zones is quite nice, especially if our opponent's deck is zone-centric, and we know that. We can lock the zone that is most important to them. For example, in Crusadias, we want to lock the zones right underneath the EMZs, although they could always use the other EMZ, but if we're going first, we can always dictate which EMZ they can use, so we can lock it that way. Although Crusadia isn't really a deck that's being played too much anymore, so maybe this effect isn't as relevant, although it is kind of cute that you have that option. And then the last effect, Ojama Monster, is 1 Obama Blue. May I be clear? May I be blue? When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, we can add 2 Ojamas from deck to hand. Now, this one's probably one of the worst ones since we aren't playing any of the spells or traps. Although I think the only cards that mention Ojama specifically is the traps, other than the field spell. This card is still alright. We can add red plus another Ojama in order to be able to do the Fiendsmith combo again. So, not the worst in the world, but it does require it to be destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. Pretty restrictive in that sense. Now, onto the better Ojamas. These are just objectively better than the effect monster Ojamas because they don't have an effect. We're on double Ojama Yellow. He's one of the Ojama trio. It said he butts in by any means necessary. And it's also said that when the other 3 are together, something happens. 2 Ojama Black. He's one of the Ojama trio. He says that he butts in by any means necessary. It's also said that he's when the 3 are together, something happens. And then 2 Ojama Green. He's one of the Ojama trio. It's said that he butts in by any means necessary. It's also said that when all 3 together, something happens. Funny that they all have the same flavor text, although it'd be nice if there was a slight variation, you know what I mean? But can't be too butthurt about that. And then 1 White Duston, the proudest of them all, of course. You know how the whites are, how they be. But that's it for our normal monsters. Now on to our normal monster support. We're on triple of the Rescue Hedgehog, just the cutest little boy. You gotta admit, he's just look at that face, just the cutest little boy. You can banish this card you control, special summon 2 level 3 or lower monsters from your deck with the same type, attribute, and level as each other, 1 normal and 1 effect, but their effects are negated and destroy them during the end phase, and that is a hard once per turn. Now this works more so with the Ojamas, not with the White Duston, but the idea with this is that you can grab an Ojama Blue or Pink, plus any one of the normal Ojamas, since they're all pretty much exactly the same, and then immediately go into Moon of the Closed Heaven to do the full Fiendsmith line. We are playing a lot of normal monsters, so we gotta play a lot of normal monster support. We're on 2 Unexpected Die and triple Primite Roar, the quick play Unexpected Die. Primite Roar is really good in this archetype, and all 5 of these rather can grab either White Duston or any one of our Ojamas that we might need. Although it is probably better to grab the White Duston because it's full Fiendsmith combo by itself without having to have 2 materials worth of guys on board. For the Fiendsmith cards, we're on 1 Lacrima, the new Mr. Creamer, although I guess it's more appropriate to say Mrs. Creamer. And then 1 copy of the Fiendsmith himself. And then for hand traps, we're on triple Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. We're on a small Bestial package. By small, I mean actually pretty large. of a double Lubellion, 1 Branded Regained, 1 Magnamussie, 1 Juris Worm, and double Bald Drake. These cards are all really good paired with the Ojamas. They're all also really good in conjunction, or rather in opposition to opposing Fiendsmith decks. But we do play enough lights that we do not give half a shit about, being all the Ojamas, that even if our opponent isn't playing a light or dark strategy, we are able to utilize these Bystials to their fullest potential. And the Branded Regained means we're pretty much always winning in the grind game if we can land this guy on board, given that we have Baldric and Juris Worm to ruin our opponent's day. Other hand traps that we're playing is 2 Infinite Impermanence, triple Effect Veiler, and then we're on 1 Call by the Grave and 1 Angel Statue as a rune. For our extra deck, for our Fiendsmith cards, we're on 1 Moon of the Closed Heaven, 1 Fiendsmith Requiem, 1 Fiendsmith Agnomendae. This card is new. It needs 2+ monsters, including a Light Fiend. Once per turn, quick effect, we can target 1 light non-link fiend monster in our graveyard, special summon it, and if we do equip this card you control to that monster as an equip spell with the following effects. Equip monster gains attack, you roll the total link rating of link monsters equipped to it times 600, so automatically gives it an 1800 boost. If the equipped monster attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. Now, that is actually pretty relevant, given that Fiendsmith didn't really have a good way to run over things before. This can immediately give an 1800 buff to our Fiendsmith Desiree, putting it to a whopping 4600 attack, putting it over quite a lot of threats. As well as, even if we put another thing on, like our sequence, now it can't be targeted, and it's even larger, because this counts all link monsters attached. So it's actually quite good, at least in more pure Fiendsmith decks, although if you're splashing it, I don't think it's really needed. We're on the aforementioned sequence, being able to fuse using stuff in our graveyard, and then it can equip onto a non-link monster that's a light fiend in order to give it targeting protection, and then 1 Fiendsmith Desiree, which is just negation, and if it's removed, it gets to basically Dinkirsu something away. On link monsters, we're on triple Link Spider because we're on so many normals, although it is completely feasible to cut a Link Spider for like a Nightmare Phoenix or something, but I'm just opting to play 3. We're on 1 IP Masquerena and 1 Espinus Little Knight, you know, the lesbian lovers, of course. 1 Access Code Talker in order to remove boards, in order to kill our opponent as well. 1 Donner Dagger for Hire, needs 2 monsters of different types. We can do this if we have Ojama Red plus any normal monster. We can go Ojama Red, summon like Ojama Yellow, for example. Go Ojama Yellow into Link Spider, and then we can go into Donner in order to remove a card. We're also on a Tri-Brigade Ferrigite in order to extend using our Ojamas. 1 Tri-Brigade Shuring, the Ominous Omen, in order to have removal based on our Ojama monsters. And then lastly, 1 Silo Hat Rabbit in order to use 2 extraneous monsters, turn them into Link Spider, and then get an Azarune out of deck, you know, the format staple. But that's actually going to be about it for the deck. It's going to be a pretty short deck profile, at least for this video. But my next video is going to be quite a bit longer and more in-depth. So actually, one more thing. After this video releases, later in the day, probably around 9 or 10, I am going to be streaming on Twitch. I'm going to be doing a Halloween stream, and I'm going to be dueling your decks. So if you want to pop in, the Twitch link is going to be in the description below. I'm also going to be posting an announcement for that on my YouTube channel page as well. There's going to be big news coming in there as well as a giveaway announcement. So I'd recommend checking that out if you wanted to be first come, first serve for that. But that's going to be about it for the video. Thank you to my 1 member. Thank you, Ari. If you want to become a member, I would recommend sticking to the end of the video, and you get to hear all about the benefits you were able to obtain from that. But that's going to be about it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching, if you still are, and I'll be seeing you all later. Have a very spooky Halloween, and goodbye. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you wanted to talk to more Yu-Gi-Oh! Players like yourself, I would highly recommend checking out our Discord server. Link is going to be in the description, as well as the QR code on screen. We do talk somewhat frequently about Yu-Gi-Oh! And the current meta, so I would really enjoy to see you there. As well as we do recently now have channel memberships available on our YouTube channel, where we have 3 different tiers. We have Super Supporter at $2 a month, where you get loyalty badges, emojis, guaranteed comment responses, a shout out at the end of every video, as well as access to the members only Discord channel, where you get early sneak peeks at future videos. There is the Giga supporter at $5 a month, where you have early access to all new videos about a day or two before they go up, as well as all the previous offers. And for $15 a month, we do have our final tier, which is going to be Femboy Fanatic. You get a guaranteed customized video every single month, as well as 1 hour of my time. Could be for anything you'd like. You want a duel? Absolutely. You want me to help build a deck? Absolutely. You want to play some Helldivers? Sure. I'll do anything for an hour once a month. But supporting does help me out quite a lot, and it does help me produce all of these videos. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be seeing y'all later. Bye-bye.